All right, so when the NFL announced that they were moving to 14 playoff teams instead of 12, I said, oh man, here they go, messing up a good thing once again. But after the Super Wild Card weekend and the action we saw, I actually think it was a good idea. We saw Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, and Lamar Jackson get their first playoff wins. We saw 4 of the 6 winners who were on the road win, 4 underdogs. Super Wild Card weekend was pretty super. Darian, what'd you think about it? What player, unit, or team stood out to you the most?
If I had to go through, if we were going to individual players, I want to give an honorable mention to my boy Taylor 40 ounce Heineke. But I decided that they say that the group is better than one, so I want to go with a unit. I'm gonna go with the Los Angeles Rams defense because they were the driving force behind winning that game. And I understand that Cam Akers was the driving force of the offense that was hindered, well, with a quarterback that was hindered in Jared Goff. But for me, it all came down to this defense. And I'm going to keep it short and sweet. And I'm sure that a lot of my co-hosts will appreciate that. But with the Rams defense, what was most impressive to me and what got them this award was they did a lot of their damage without the best defender in the league. Aaron Donald missed a lot of time with an abdominal injury. And in that time frame, they had a span where the Seahawks had 17 plays that went for 21 yards. That's dominant. There's no other way to put it. And you're doing that without your best defender. Yeah, you still got Jalen Ramsey out there, but Aaron Donald is a force that when he went out, I thought that the Seattle Seahawks might kick it in. They didn't. They flatlined, if you want to quote Russell Wilson on it. They continued to get pressure on Russ, made him look quite pedestrian. Like he looked like a regular quarterback against that pressure in zone defense. And I know he's used to pressure, which makes this dominance and the fact that he looks so bad stand out even more. And for me, all those things are good. The offense came in, and I understand that. But they threw a wide receiver screen, and they took it to the house with a pick six. That should not happen. There's no way the cornerback should meet the wide receiver and beat him to the ball on that play and take it to the house. And that play just exemplifies the dominance of what could be the best defense in the NFL. And that's why they were my most impressive unit of the weekend.
All right, so for me, this might come off as a little cliche, but I believe in giving due. I believe in giving their proper due where I see fit. And so shout out to the Cleveland Browns. They held it down this past weekend against the Steelers. I feel like they heard the chatter from Juju Smith-Schuster, and they went into Pittsburgh and smacked them in the mouth with the win of 48-37, I believe. This is the Browns' first playoff win since '94. And so, but just going off the past weekend, they handled their business offensively. Baker Mayfield threw for 263 yards and three touchdowns. I'm sorry. But defensively, yeah, the defense did give up over 500 yards to Big Ben, but they did walk away with 4 interceptions. And so I think the Cleveland Browns handled their business on both sides of the ball. At one point, I looked up and there was still 2 minutes left in the first quarter, and I'm like, wait, it's still the first quarter, but the Browns were up 28-0. So you have to give the Browns their props.
About a week ago, at SOS discussion, we talked about which was the biggest game when it came to this weekend. And everybody didn't have the same answer as me. I think I was obviously right in that discussion, but it was the Ravens versus the Titans. And Lamar Jackson was proving everybody that he was that guy and that it wasn't a fluke in the MVP. And he wasn't just a regular season player. He could play in the postseason. And for me, and it still is to this day, the Ravens are my Super Bowl pick. And I don't care what people say. And so this wasn't as impressive to me, but to the general public, I believe this was the most impressive player when it came to last week. And that was Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson proved doubters wrong. In the interviews before the game, he talked about not just winning this game to prove them wrong, but to play Lamar ball, to play the ball that Lamar Jackson plays. And if you listen to any content beyond me in terms of Jamal Root, in terms of outside in the Root of Everything podcast, I talk about your biggest advantage is being yourself. And Lamar Jackson was himself last weekend. He decided to get out of the pocket and go out there and run the football when stuff went the way they didn't plan to. And he did that, and he won his team a playoff game, and proved everybody wrong. Now, was the defense playing well all game? Did they stop Derrick Henry? Yes. But Lamar Jackson actually made some throws that were impressive, and he did what he had to do to win his team a football game in the postseason. And he's going to continue to do that and prove people wrong his whole life because he does what he does best, and that's being Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I think y'all brought up some phenomenal picks. Like when I look at Lamar Jackson, the reason he's so impressive to me for this performance, at least, there's a lot of reasons you could talk about just his game in general. But for this performance, it was impressive because he did two things he hadn't done. Not only did he win a playoff game and silence some doubters on that, the team showed that they could come back from behind. It's the first time they ever came back from a 10-point deficit. Do I think that's a little bit misleading? Yeah, but we're not going to get into, specifics in that way. But I think that they showed that they can not only play from behind and catch up, they can keep their foot on the gas and dominate. I think the Ravens as a whole was so impressive. And I think that for Lamar Jackson, this went a long way for what is, I don't want to say his legacy, but his current perception that he can do a lot. And then moving to the Cleveland Browns, I thought that the fact that they hopped out like that was great. And then it looked like Pittsburgh might have been able to build some momentum. So for Cleveland to not do the Cleveland thing, because when they came out, it's like, wow, this is the least Cleveland way to start a playoff game. A real Cleveland way to end that playoff game would be to let it go. And they didn't. Right. When it seemed like things were going to get close, they put it away and they gave it to Nick Chubb, and he ran in and he went straight ear to pocket, all form running, and went all the way to the end zone in that screen pass. And I think that both of those, both your player and that team have some really big moments for their legacy, their current perception. And now we can move forward and watch both the Cleveland Browns as a team grow and Lamar Jackson as a quarterback grow.
Mm-hmm. And I'll also say Baker Mayfield, like you said, two quarterbacks from the same draft class proved the doubters wrong. Baker Mayfield has been under so many comments this whole season, proved them wrong. So I definitely see anybody saying Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson. It's amazing these two draft classes kind of came out at the same time.
Really quickly, do we have any upsets this weekend?
I mean, I got Baltimore. Beating who they got, the Bills? Yeah, I got Baltimore beating the Bills. Bills had a close game last week. I think Lamar continues in the hot streak.
You know what? I'm gonna throw one out there. I don't know. I'm just gonna throw one out because I feel like I want to get spicy with it. You know what I'm saying? I want to go with the Los Angeles Rams pulling off an upset on the Green Bay Packers. You have the most premier matchup of the week, and that's Jalen Ramsey versus Devontae Adams. If Ramsey can do a good job on him, that's going to be a lot more difficult on Aaron Rodgers. And you look at when he's faced off against talented secondaries, you could say when he went against, or just talented defenses, really talented defenses. You have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they shut him down. You have the Indianapolis Colts. He had a decent game, but they lost that one. And he caught the Saints when they weren't in stride. And we've seen what happened before that with, I don't even think that's fair, but the NFC Championship game. The last couple of times he's gone against a really strong defense, they put the pressure, and the Green Bay Packers have not had diamonds. The pipes busted. So let's see what they can do against a really strong defense in Los Angeles, and that's my upset alert.
I think Darian got a good one there with the Rams possibly upsetting the Packers. However, I don't even know if this is really an upset, but I feel like somehow, some way, the Saints can pull an upset against the Bucs.
Oh yeah, come on now. I know what it is. Big dark horse over here.
I'm not counting out Drew Brees just yet. Anything's possible.
Definitely.
I'll say one name. Before, real quick, John. I'll say one name that you didn't mention, Darian, and that's Jared Goff. My goodness, had him in fantasy this year. It don't matter what defense he playing. You can tell what's going to happen by the first quarter if he's showing up or not. So we'll see. I think it's a possibility. But if Jared Goff don't show up, which is 50-50, then that take goes out the window.
I just have to say real quick, my favorite moment of Super Wild Card Weekend was watching Lamar Jackson jump out the window on them boys and go 49 yards and beat 3 defenders who had an angle on them to the end zone, man. You can't teach that. He's special. But once again, you know where to find us. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, even tell your mama about us. Spot on Sports. We're not just accurate. We spot on, baby.